Yugnashisha Sambhushitam Chincha Chincha Samasta Veda Nipanam Shirupa Pantanugam Govinda Vidamujvalam Bharatanam Bhaktyambitam Sundaram Vande Vishwaguruncha Divya Bhagavad Premno Himijapradam Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvise Namaha. So we're continuing this morning with our hearing of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we yesterday concluded with Mahaprabhu's description of the different avatars for the different yugas, and then Sanatana Goswami said, well, hang on a minute. But what's that description for the Kali Yuga avatar again? Sounds kind of familiar. So we'll pick up from there. Jai Shri Gurudev. Hati kunja jiva mui nicha nicha char kemane janibo kalite konavatar. Sanatana Goswami said, I am a very insignificant living entity. I am low and poorly behaved. How can I understand who is the incarnation for this age of Kali? Prabhu kohe anyavatar shastra dare jani kalite avatar taiche shastra vakyamani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, as in other ages, an incarnation is accepted according to the directions of the Shastras. As in other ages, an incarnation is accepted according to the directions of the Shastras. In this age of Kali, an incarnation of God should also be accepted in that way. So, as you have read the descriptions in the scripture, by that you can recognize who is the avatar for this age. Sarvagya munir vakya shastra paramhan namasabha jive hoy shastra dwara gyan. The Vedic literatures composed by the omniscient Maha Muni Vyasadeva are evidence of all spiritual existence. Only through these revealed scriptures can all conditioned souls attain knowledge. Avatar nahi kohe ami avatar muni sab lani. An actual incarnation of God never says, I am God, or I am an incarnation of God, except for Krishna. And Gurudev made that point, like Krishna's the only one who says that. Like that demonstrates, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, he just blatantly, shamelessly, as Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, declares, like, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You should worship me, and bow to me, and serve me, and love me. It's a very bold statement. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishashi satyante pratijani priyosi. And no other avatar says that anywhere. So generally they will not. And so, there's a point here, especially here, this isn't so relevant in the West, but in India, this is a serious issue. People pretending that they're one of the avatars, because there's just so many. So, yeah, I'm one of them. There are many people who have done that in India. And there's a whole history of Bhakti Vinod Thakur being delegated this duty at one time to deal with somebody like this. Vishakha was his name, making so much trouble, declaring he was Krishna's latest avatar, and his duty was to destroy the British government. So the British government gave this work to Bhakti Vinod Thakur to deal with him. So and still today, these types of things, they come up. So it's important, this is being stated. You have to refer to scripture. It's not that anyone can just say, oh, I'm an avatar. First of all, they won't do that. Second of all, you need to verify with the Shastra what is stated in Shastra. Now we have quotation from Bhagavatam. Yasyavatara gyayante sharidesh va sharirina taister tulyati shayer viryer dehish asangatai. The Lord does not have a material body, yet he descends among human beings in his transcendental body as an incarnation. Therefore, it is very difficult for us to understand who is an incarnation. Only by his extraordinary prowess and uncommon activities, which are impossible for embodied living entities, can one partially understand the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he comes in a, mingling with the common people, and it may be difficult to recognize. As Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, there's that famous verse, how does it go? Janma Divyam, anyone remember? Where he's saying, my birth and my activities, they are all divine. I think it's the beginning of chapter 4. Oh, it's a very famous verse. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. Janma, how does it go? Evam tattvata. You know that verse, Pandita. Anyway, Krishna is saying in this verse that my birth and my activities in this world, they are all divine. Birth is normally something material, and someone acting in this world, normally it is on a material basis. So even though externally it appears I'm doing the same things as everyone else, this is all like a cover. Actually I'm fully transcendental. My nature is fully divine. So it is difficult to recognize, to understand. Sarup lakana tatashta lakan edui lakane vastu jane munigan. By two symptoms, personal characteristics and marginal characteristics, the great sages can understand an object. Akriti prakriti swarup sarup lakan kaya dvada gyane tatashta lakan. Bodily features, nature and form are the personal characteristics. Knowledge of his activities provides the marginal characteristics. Bhagavatarambe vyas mangalacharane parameshva nirupilo eduilakane. In the auspicious invocation at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva has described the Supreme Personality of Godhead by these symptoms. Now this is the very first verse of Bhagavatam. Janmad yasya yata anvayadi taratash tarteshva bhigyasvarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muyanti yat soraya tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo yatra chisargo mrisha damna swena sada nirashtakuhakam satyam param dhimahi. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water, seen in fire, or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Ishloke param shabde Krishna nirupan satyam shabde kohetar sarup lakan. In this invocation from Srimad Bhagavatam, the word param indicates Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the word satyam indicates his personal characteristics. So padam meaning supreme, and satyam indicating truth. Vishwa Shishtari Koilo Veda Brahma Ke Parailo Arta Vigyata Sarup Shakti Mayado Koilo. In that same verse it is stated that the Lord is the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of the cosmic manifestation, and that he enabled Lord Brahma to create the universe by infusing him with the knowledge of the Vedas. It is also stated that the Lord has full knowledge, directly and indirectly, that he knows past, present, and future, and that his personal energy is separate from Maya, the illusory energy. Esab karyata tatastalakan anyavatarache janemunigan. All these activities are his marginal characteristics. Great saintly persons understand the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the indications of the two characteristics known as Swarup and Tatashta. All the incarnations of Krishna should be understood in this way. Avatar kale hoy jagate gochar, e dui lakane ke ho janaye ishwar. At the time of their appearance, the incarnations of the Lord are known in the world because people can consult the Shastras to understand an incarnation's chief characteristics known as Swarup and Tatashta. In this way, the incarnations become known to great saintly persons. Sanatan kohe jate ishwalakan, pita vanya kaya prema dan sankirtan. Sanatana Goswami said, the color of the personality in whom the characteristics of the Lord are found is yellowish. His activities include the distribution of love of Godhead and the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Kali kale se Krishna avatar nishchoy sudrida kodiya ko jok samshoy. The incarnation of Krishna for this age is indicated by these symptoms. Please confirm this definitely, so that all my doubts will go away. Prabhu kohe chaturali chada sanatan shakjave shavatade shunavi varam. Mahaprabhu said, O Sanatan, you must give up your intelligent tricks. Now just try to understand the descriptions of the Shakti-Vesh avatars. Let's just change the subject. Shakti-Vesh avatar Krishna asankhya ganan digdarashan kori mukya jan. There are unlimited Shakti-Vesh avatars of Lord Krishna. Let me describe the chief among them. Shakti-Vesh Duirup Mukya Gona Deki Sakshat Shakti Avatar Abhase Vibhuti Liki. Empowered incarnations are of two types, primary and secondary. The primary ones are directly empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are called incarnations or avatars. The secondary ones are indirectly empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are called vibhuti.
Sanakadi Narad Pitu Parasharam Jivarupa Brahma Avasheshavatarnam.
Some Ch.Ch. avatars are the four Kumars, Narad, Maharaj Prithu, and Parashuram. When a living being is empowered to act as Lord Brahma, he is also considered a Ch.Ch. avatar.
Vaikunte Sheshtara Daraye Ananta Emukyava Sheshavatar Vishtade Nahiyanta.
Lord Ch.Ch. in the spiritual world of Vaikuntha and in the material world, Lord Ananta, who carries innumerable planets on his hoods, are two primary empowered incarnations. There is no need to count the others, for they are unlimited.
Sanakadye Gyan Shakti Narare Shakti Bhakti Brahmai Shishti Shakti Anante Buddhadana Shakti.
The power of knowledge was invested in the four Kumaras, and the power of devotion was invested in Narad. The power of creation was invested in Lord Brahma, and the power to carry innumerable planets was invested in Lord Ananta.
Sheshe Swasevan Shakti Pritute Palan Parasharame Dushtanashak Virya Sancharan.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead invested the power of personal service in Lord Ch.Ch., and he invested the power to rule the earth in King Prithu. Lord Parashuram received the power to kill rogues and miscreants. Now, quotation from Lagu Bhagavatamrita. Jnana Shaktadi Kalaya Yachavishto Janardana Ta Vesha Nigadyante Jiva Eva Mahatama. Whenever the Lord is present in someone by portions of his various potencies, the living entity representing the Lord is called a Ch.Ch. avatar, that is, an incarnation invested with special power.
Vibhuti kohir jaiche gita ekadashe jagadvyapilo Krishna shakyabhasa veshe.
As explained in the 11th canto of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has spread himself all over the universe in many personalities through specific powers known as Vibhuti. And now this quotation from Gita. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimad urjitam eva va tat tade va vagachatam mamate jamsa sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Atava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishchabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena stito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Hito kohilo shaktya veshavatar balya poganda dharma shunaho vichar.
Thus I have explained specifically empowered incarnations, Ch.Ch. avatars. Now please hear about the characteristics of Lord Krishna's childhood, boyhood, and youth.
Kishore Shekhar Dharmi Brajendra Nandan Prakat Lila Koribade Jabe Koreman.
As the son of Maharaj Nanda, Lord Krishna is by nature the paragon of Kishore, youth. He chooses to exhibit his pastimes at that age. So the teenage years.
Ado prakat karai mata pita bhakta gane pache prakat hoye janmadik lila krame.
Before his personal appearance, the Lord causes some of his devotees to appear as his mother, father, and intimate associates. He then appears later as if he were taking birth and growing from a baby to a child and gradually into a youth. Quotation from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Well, not exactly quotation because this is before Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but it's also found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Vayaso vividatvepi sarva bhakti rasashaya dharmi kishore evatra nitya lila vilasavan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally enjoying himself, and he is the shelter of all kinds of devotional service. Although his ages are various, his age known as Kishore, pre-youth, is best of all.
Putana vadadi jata lila kane kane sab lila nitya prakat kore anukrame.
When Lord Krishna appears, from moment to moment he exhibits his different pastimes, beginning with the killing of Putana. All these pastimes are eternally being demonstrated one after another. So it's like, I don't know if it's here, but Kaviraj, okay, yeah. Yeah, he gives this example. So it's like moving from Brahmanda to Brahmanda, his Leela, in a cyclic way. So it's every pastime is always taking place at some point, somewhere. The consecutive pastimes of Krishna are being manifested in one of the innumerable universes, moment after moment. There is no possibility of counting the universes, but in any case, some pastime of the Lord is being manifested at every moment in one universe or another.
Hemata sablila jeno gangadhar se lila prakat kore brajendra kumar.
Thus the Lord's pastimes are like the flowing Ganges river. In this way, all the pastimes are manifested by the son of Nanda Maharaj.
Krame balya poganda kaisharata prapti rasadi lila kore kaishore nityastiti.
Lord Krishna exhibits his pastimes of childhood, boyhood, and pre-youth. When he reaches pre-youth, this means like his teenage years, like 14, 15. When he reaches pre-youth, he continues to exist eternally to perform his rasa dance and other pastimes. Nitya lila Krishna sarva shastre koi bujite na pare lila kemone nitya hoy. Descriptions of Krishna's eternal pastimes are in all the revealed scriptures, but one cannot understand how they are continuing eternally. Drishtanta diya kohi tobe loka jadi jane Krishna lila nitya jyotish chakra pramane. Let me give an example by which people may understand Lord Krishna's eternal pastimes. An example can be found in the zodiac. Jyotish chakra surya jeno fire rachi dine sapta dvipam bhurilangi fire krame krame. The sun moves across the zodiac day and night and crosses the oceans between the 7 islands, one after the other. Rachi dine hoy shashti danda pariman tin sahasra choy shata palatarman. According to Vedic astronomical calculations, the rotation of the sun consists of 60 dandas, which is a particular measure of time. Don't know exactly. Actually, isn't it 46 minutes? Isn't that mentioned? I don't remember. So the rotation of the sun consists of 60 dandas, and it is divided into 3,600 palas. Soyadoi hoite shashti palkramo doi se eka dandasta dande prahar hoy. The sun rises in steps consisting of 60 palas. 60 palas equal one danda. Okay, well, probably a danda is longer than 46 minutes. I'm just thinking of that, the calculation of the Brahma Muhurta. It mentions It's meant to be 46 minutes before sunrise, right? And then that has a name, that measurement. But maybe I'm mixing. It's called something else.
96 minutes before sunrise.
96 minutes. But it doesn't say the name of that, no. "60 palas equal 1 dandan, 8 dandas comprise 1 prahar. Ekadui tin chadi prahare ashta hoy, chadi praharachi kele punasoryo doy." The day and the night are divided into 8 praharas, 4 belonging to the day and 4 belonging to the night. After 8 praharas, the sun rises again. Ch.Ch Krishna lila mandal, choraman vandhade, brahmanda mandal vyapi, krame krame fide. Just as there is an orbit of the sun, there is an orbit of Krishna's pastimes, which are manifested one after the other, during the lifetime of 14 manus. And there's 14 manus in one day of Brahma, right? We worked that out yesterday, or we were told that yesterday. During the lifetime of 14 manus, which is one day of Lord Brahma, this orbit expands through all the universes and gradually it returns. Thus Krishna moves with his pastimes through all the universes, one after another. Sharya Shattavatsa Krishna Prakat Prakash Tahajaiche Bhajapure Korila Vilas. Krishna remains within a universe for 125 years, and he enjoys his pastimes both in Vrindavan and Dwaraka. Alata Chakra Prai Selila Chakra Fire Sablila Sabramande Krame Udai Kore. The cycle of his pastimes turns like a wheel of fire. Thus Krishna exhibits his pastimes one after the other in every universe. Janma Balya Poganda Kaishwar Prakash Puttanava Dadi Kodi Moshalanta Vilas. Krishna's pastimes, appearance, childhood, boyhood, and youth are all manifested, beginning with the killing of Putana and extending to the end of the Moshala Lila, the annihilation of the Jadu dynasty. All of these pastimes are rotating in every universe. Kon Brahmande kon lila hoy avastan, date lila nitya kohe agam puran. Since all Krishna's pastimes are taking place continuously, at every moment some pastime is existing in one universe or another. Consequently, these pastimes are called eternal by the Vedas and Puranas. Golok Gokuldam Vibhu Krishna Sam Krishna Chai Brahmanda Gone Tahar Sankram. The spiritual abode known as Goloka, which is a pasturing land for Sarabi cows, is as powerful and opulent as Krishna. By the will of Krishna, the original Goloka and Gokul Dhams are manifested with him in all the universes. Ataiva Golokstane Nitya Vihar Brahmanda Gane Krame Prakatya Tahar. The eternal pastimes of Krishna are continuously taking place in the original Goloka Vrindavan planet. These same pastimes are gradually manifested within the material world, in each and every Brahmanda. Braje Krishna Sarvaishvarya Prakashe Purnatam Puridvaye Paravome Purnatar Purna. Krishna is complete in the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha. He is more complete in Mathura and Dwarka, and he is most complete in Vrindavan, Braja, due to his manifesting all his opulences. So this is a very helpful way in which to appreciate the gradation in Krishna's different leelas. Perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Or as it's put here, complete, more complete, and most complete. It's not that there's any deficiency anywhere. And this is not something we can really comprehend with our limited, intellects. But it gives us some idea, because in this world, if something's not perfect, it means it's deficient in some way. There's something wrong with it. But there's no deficiency. There's only more perfection. There's only greater and greater degrees of perfection. So it is a helpful way to maintain the proper mood of appreciation and respect for all the manifestations of the Lord. So Purna, Purnatar, and Purnotam. These are the ways in which they're described. Hadi Purna Tama Purna Tada Purna Iti Trida Sheshta Madhyadi Shabder Natya Paripatyate. This is a quotation. I mean, actually everything's like circular. I mean, it's not like, oh, well, this came later, so it's not a quotation from there. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And when it comes to eternal things, So I'm going to say it's from Bhakti Rasamrita. Gurudev, he had Sermons Volume 4 published before Sermons Volume 3. Mm-hmm. Madhusudana Maharaj told me he purposely directed that. Yeah. Oh, you just noticed that by yourself? Huh? Yeah.
I just sort of got it in some...
No, that was Gurudev's deliberate thing.
What was his reason?
Madhusudana Maharaj didn't explain, but in his purport, in Gurudev's introduction, I think to the third one, he says something about how now this third one is being decorated on both sides by the other ones. And he references, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives an explanation about this in Bhagavad Gita, that because normally we'll say in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives karma yoga, then he gives jnana yoga, and then he gives bhakti yoga at the conclusion. But actually, the bhakti section is more in the middle. And okay, in the 18th chapter, he concludes with bhakti, but otherwise, the last 6 chapters are mostly dealing with jnana. The first 6 chapters are mostly dealing with karma and some jnana. Then the middle 6 chapters are mostly dealing with bhakti. And the last 6 chapters are mostly dealing with jnana. And so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives this explanation that bhakti is in the central position, and how also the other yogas, they only get their life through bhakti. So through the touch of bhakti in the center, then they get some life. And also that the others, they're like external coverings. And so bhakti is like the essence, the hidden treasure, and those are the superficial things. So he gives that explanation, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what Gurudev was thinking, but he makes some reference to that. Like it meant something to him in his divine, thought world. But it's an interesting thing, because you do see sometimes how things don't exactly, like in spirit, in transcendental exchanges, there's not always a linear sequence. So Bhagavatam, and this is something that worldly scholars get totally confused about, but Srimad Bhagavatam is, we normally describe it as the final scripture, right? In a linear sense, Vyasadeva presented it last, because he composed all the other scriptures, and then Narada said, well, hang on, you missed the whole point of all of this, which is to present Krishna consciousness. So he said, okay, and then he gave Srimad Bhagavatam. But then how is it that in several more ancient scriptures, you find references to Srimad Bhagavatam? How do you explain that? Because it's not actually linear. It's a cyclic. Everything's just existing, and it's moving in cycles. It's not like there's a beginning and there's an end. It's just like we're so conditioned by time and this linear movement of degradation in this world. But time is just like a condition. It's a framework that we're living in that conditions us. It's a construct. Time is a construct of this world. So like people who are outside of that construct, they see things in a completely different way. So you might get the answer before you get the question. Like there in Bhagavatam, in that there's that famous exchange between Radha and Krishna and Kurukshetra. And it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We've heard it described by Gurudev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. But actually, Krishna's answer comes before what is presented. The Braja Gopis present something, and then Krishna responds. But if you look in the actual sequence in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the other way around. That Krishna actually comes with his answer before they present their heart expression. I saw that with Gurudev also in one talk that he gave, where it was just so brilliant. How he answered a question in this very clever way. Somebody came to him with one question, and he kind of evaded that and went back to another question and answered that question. It was just like he wasn't. It was like he wasn't limited by this like need for some direct exchange. It's like he was linking this to something else and you had to be sharp enough to catch like what he's talking about, who he's talking to. What's the context here? You had to be like sharp to be able to catch that. So like people who are living outside of this construct of time, they're just seeing things in a very different way. So, like to us it may seem very puzzling. Why would you publish the 4th volume before you publish the 3rd volume? But for Gurudev, it just made perfect sense. It's wonderful. And yeah, I came once, I don't remember why, but I was looking for something in some edition of the Vishnu Purana, just by some mundane scholar, Vedic scholar. And he was mentioning this point, like Srimad Bhagavatam, he made some reference to Bhagavatam. He's saying Srimad Bhagavatam is said to be the last scripture, but we find references to it in these very ancient scriptures. So therefore, it must be an earlier scripture. We must date it, to such and such a time. It was like you have no idea like what this is. This is not this is not a matter of history. This is eternal. This is an eternal body of truth. You have to throw away all your limitations, if you're going to approach this. It's mentioned in the Garuda Purana and other places, the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like older Puranas older scriptures are describing Bhagavatam as the highest. Arto Yam, there's that famous verse, Arto Yam Brahmasutranam Bharatarta Vinina. This Bhagavatam is the essence of Mahabharat. It is the commentary on Gayatri, the essence of the Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra. This is in a scripture that came way before Srimad Bhagavatam.
I'm listening to it in the car sometimes, and I was thinking, this could actually be written any time. There's no way of. It's very mysterious. It's the essence of everything. All together. Like each different from different pastimes, but like the essence of it.
The thing is, like, we're not hung up on this. Like you were saying, some people they really like ancient stuff, right? Like we're not hung up on that. That doesn't mean anything to us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's It's about what happened.
Yeah. It could have been written yesterday, it could have been written 1,000 years in the future.
But it's truth. It's an eternal body of truth. We're not ageists.
Because this truth is eternal, then it's relevant according to time, place, and circumstance. So it's very accurate to the present, which is interesting if you think about the fact that it's also like ancient and all these things.
Yes. Yeah. That is the value of absolute truth or eternal truth, that it will always be relevant.
For everyone, everywhere.
Exactly, at all times, in all places, all circumstances.
Whether or not you're a spacefaring barbarian in the year 2100, or you're a person performing yoga 4,000 years ago.
It's actually proof that it is beyond time.
I think I heard this, that in Srimad Bhagavatam there's a description about one particular Kali Yuga, right? And that it progressed so much that people were attacking other civilizations in other parts of the universe. And
Wow, that's where we're going. That's where this world's going.
so advanced. And mind you, this is written like 5,000 years ago, right?
Yes.
So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How can someone possibly perceive that beyond, his current time which he's in, right?
Yeah.
And this is written there, and it just became so advanced that everything else had to sort of be like fast forwarded, like, okay, quickly, cocky, like do your thing.
I heard, actually,
Something like that.
that's interesting, because Gurudev, I came across in some old article somewhere in Navadvip, where someone asked Guru, because you hear 532,000 years, right? And somebody asked Gurudev, like, is that a fixed thing? And he said, no, it changes.
Depends.
And he also said this was a short one. He said that.
Oh, well, we can see
Like he became, they were asking him, like, what's this one? And he became sober, and he said this is some, I don't remember his exact words, but he indicated this was a shorter Kali Yuga. So that's interesting you mentioned that. Yeah, because the advancement of this technological advancement is happening at such a fast pace, but all it's doing is inviting greater and greater reactions. It's accelerating the destruction of the planet. So yeah, I mean that's like the direction where the world's going right now, inviting an early destruction.
There's a great board game called Warhammer 40k.
I know what you're talking about.
I have no idea.
Sadly, I know what you're talking about. Something to be proud of.
Finally, one other person.
Gurudev also mentioned his theory that I don't know if he said this was what he thought would happen, but what he said could happen, because he was mentioning, like, why is Kalki depicted with the sword and like in this very simple traditional style? And he said one possibility is that modern civilization, and it's something Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentioned also as an example of how things could change, but that there could be like a major nuclear war. Then all of modern civilization gets completely wiped out, and then a more simple agricultural civilization will rise up.
Stone Age.
Something like that, yeah. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he mentioned, he didn't like mention it like that's what's going to happen, but he used it as an example, because he was saying how there's I think it's in Sermons 4, there's some discussion of how in previous ages people could communicate in the mental plane. And nowadays people can't believe that. And Srila Sridhar said, well, what it could happen that there's a destruction of our modern civilization. Future generations, they may come across some indications of the previous technology we had, like airplanes and motor cars, telephones, and they won't believe it. People think, oh, that's so far-fetched, that's impossible. And you have a few geeks who will be like, no, this really happened. And everyone else is like, you're crazy, how can you you communicate through ether? That's impossible. How can you fly across oceans, They won't believe it.
It's difficult to believe now.
It is, isn't it? It is. And how is it we're transmitting this?
Yeah.
For me, it just blows my mind.
It's multiple cities of complexity. The amount of complexity and exploitation that goes into every digital device is incredible. And it's getting more crazy.
And what's interesting is we think of ourselves as being advanced. This is actually a degradation. Previously, you didn't need this. It all just happened on a much more subtle plane.
One of the most amazing things is actually truth was spoken. So you just speak it, and then you'd listen to that, you'd retain that, you'd be like, oh, okay, I know that.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
now,
You don't need a book.
you don't need books. They didn't need books, we think we're very advanced,
That's why they're saying that Kali Yuga, because there's so many lies, pollutes the air. For instance, maybe even coronavirus is linked to that pollution.
Sure, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, Nitai was talking about being Shrutidar,
Right.
being able to just hear something once and
And then that's it.
and remember it. Yeah.
Oh, and was it also that the speech was truth?
No, I just meant
Yeah.
just in a really simple sense. So when
Nothing needed to be
yes,
written
yeah,
down.
yeah.
No, I mean that's another point. Yes, also there was more truth being spoken.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So how could someone, word for word, get that right? Because he had amazing memory that you will never have.
Yes.
The people at that time were really sharp. That was part of how it was, not now.
Yeah.
People have this
Also,
idea-
it was written by Ganesh. That's another. He's not just some random guy. He had some seriously sharp memory, even for that time. Probably. I'm just guessing. Sorry. Just wanted to make that point.
Okay, well, we're just a few more verses till the end of the chapter. This is stated in the dramatic literatures as perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Thus, Lord Krishna manifests himself in three ways. Prakashita kilaguna smrita purna tamo budai asarva vyanjaka purna tara purno alpa darshaka. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not manifest all his transcendental qualities, he is called complete. When all the qualities are manifested but not fully, he is called more complete. When he manifests all his qualities in fullness, he is called most complete. This is the version of all learned scholars in the devotional science. Krishnasya purnatamata yaktabud gokulantade purnata purnatarata dwarka maturadishu. The most complete qualities of Krishna are manifested within Vrindavan, and his complete and more complete qualities are manifested in Dwarka and Mathura. Hey Krishna Bhaje Purnatam Bhagavan Adosam Sadupurna Tadapurnanam. Lord Krishna is the most complete Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vrindavan. Elsewhere, all his expansions are either complete or more complete. Sankepe kohilo Krishna Sarupichar Ananta kohite nare iha vishtar Thus I have briefly described Krishna's manifestation of transcendental forms. This subject matter is so large that even Lord Ananta cannot describe it fully. Ananta Sarup Krishna Nahiko Ganan Shaka Chanjanaya Kori Dignadashan. In this way, Krishna's transcendental forms are expanded unlimitedly. No one can count them. Whatever I have explained is simply a little glimpse. It is like showing the moon through the branches of a tree. Ihaje shune pode se bhagyavan Krishna sarup tattve hoy kichu gyan. Whoever hears or recites these descriptions of the expansions of Krishna's body is certainly very fortunate. Although this is difficult to understand, one can nonetheless acquire some knowledge about the different features of Krishna's body. Shirupa Raghunath Pade Jaraj Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rup and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Shri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. So we will continue tomorrow with chapter 21. This is the opulence and sweetness of Lord Shri Krishna, also part of Sanatan Shiksha. It spans like 3 or 4 chapters. Dita, will you sing, please?
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Jai Bhagavan Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari ki Jai Saprashad Shima Mahaprabhu ki Jai Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai Shri Ganga Jamuna ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Devi ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shama Kunada Kun Giri Govardhan ki Jai Shri Kol Kartal ki Jai Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai Vishwavyapi Tadiya Shakamat ki Jai Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charjamaj ki Jai Acharya Vrinda ki Jai Seva Vrinda ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Jai Gaur Premanande